So I've got us going.
Okay, let me continue here. All right.
It's a real honor to be in conversation with our guest today. He's a man of many dimensions. As a musician, he's a renowned percussionist, Latin jazz icon, Grammy Award winner, and leader of the groundbreaking Pete Escovedo Orchestra. He's also an author whose memoir, My Life in the Key of E, invited readers to journey down memory lane in a thoughtful and vulnerable way. And he's also an artist whose body of work includes fantastic series of paintings and drawings in oils, acrylics, latex, enamels, pencil, and crayons. Currently, he has a brand new recording out titled Rhythm of the Night. Welcome, Mr. Pete Escovedo. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. Nice to see you.
Man, after reading that intro, I kind of feel like maybe I've been slacking. You're doing so much, man.
You know what? It really has been a busy life for me. Yeah, and and when you're talking about the book, it took me a while. Took me about almost 4 years to write that book, but the good thing about it was that I kept a journal of what things I was doing, where I was playing, that kind of stuff through the years. So that enabled me to go back and look through the journal and see where I was at that time, because a lot of times it's so hard to remember what you've done in the past. And because there's been so many travels around the world, concerts, nightclubs, musicians that I played with, that it's hard to keep track of all that stuff. So I got into the habit of kind of writing down things that happened to me along the way. So it was a lot easier to put the book together. And I just thought it was time, maybe to be a nice reading for people that are going into the music business to see what it's like how you start out, where I came from, the ups and downs of the music business. And
Right.
yeah, so many of those. Yeah. So, it was really a lot of fun putting it together, and I'm glad, I got it out.
Man, for you, what was that trip down memory lane like? Reviewing and rereading some of those journals, places you've been, places that you may have forgotten about, at another time.
Well, there was one instant where during the years that I traveled with Carlos Santana Band, and this is back in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. And, you know, traveling around the world, we were in Passau, Germany, which is a
Hmm.
very, very small town in Germany. The cobblestone streets and, you know, uh, buildings that have been there for centuries and stuff, very picturesque. And those years, to keep in shape, because of our, pretty rough schedule of traveling and performing, I used to run, jog, and I would always get up first thing in the morning and put on my running shoes and shorts and get out there and run. And so I ran down this street in Germany, and I got to, like, it seemed like it was sort of like the end of the street, but it was like almost like a wharf, So I ran out there to the end, and when I got there, um, it was kind of windy, and there was this gigantic river, and the wind kind of blew the water in my face a little bit. And I looked out across the river, and it happened to be uh, that year, it happened to be we were out on Thanksgiving Day, so I really missed the family.
Hmm.
And having that experience, looking out and saying, wow, God, here I am in Germany at the end of a river, looking out over this mass water. Um, it was just great to be alive. It was just
Right.
great to just get all of that, involvement in being out there. So it was really that moment was really special to me. I'll always remember that because it was really, really a special time.
Right on, man. Thanks for sharing that memory. Um, as I mentioned, currently you've got a brand new recording out called Rhythm of the Night, with your outstanding band and some guest musicians. Just before we were coming on, you were talking about how it's been for you having a cast of outstanding musicians in the orchestra. Tell us about that, man. I mean, when you first decided to become a band leader, um, what was the thought? What was the thought and the type of sound that you wanted, the type of musicians that you wanted involved,
Yeah.
and how is that carried over to today's orchestra?
Well, as a percussionist, I was, very fortunate and blessed to be able to play with a lot of different bands and a lot of different band leaders and musicians. And so when you work for somebody else, you know that you want to do your best job for the leader of the band because it's his name, it's his band, it's his music. And because I did that for so many years, um, when my brother and I first formed, my brother Coke and I first formed that Azteca band, our object to that was to get great musicians, put a big band together, and have a lot of original music that all the band members would write. And so that kind of inspired me a lot after the band broke up. I thought, well, I don't want to go back to working for somebody else. And again, I really would like to do my own stuff the way I like to do it. And coming from the Bay Area, the Bay Area is such a great place to grow up in, and so many musicians there, so
Right.
many bands that came out of the Bay Area. And so, with all of that, and listening to all those different styles of music and people that I played with, I thought, well, what kind of music would I do? As I love jazz. I loved, the Afro-Cuban music and Latin music and R&B and pop stuff, and I just liked all forms of music. So I thought, what if I kind of put all of this kind of together, but put the Latin stuff in there, put the rhythm section in there, and add the horns, make some of the lines jazz, make some of it, make the rhythm, Latin, and just put it all together and see what happens. So that's sort of how I came up with the Escovedo sound,
Mhm.
of the Bay Area, of doing that kind of music. And so with this last CD, um, my son Peter Michael, who has produced the CD for me, um, the one the CD before this one we did was called Back to the Bay,
Right.
and he suggested let's take a bunch of R&B songs and just mess them up, just put some stuff on them. So we did that, and we got a great response from people who liked the CD. So when this one came up, and it was a good time to do the CD because we were in a pandemic, we couldn't work anywhere, we were stuck at home. Said, hey, this is a great time to start another CD. So we went into the studio and picked some songs, and a lot of cover songs, R&B stuff, and we put our stuff on there, and that's how it came out. And I was very fortunate because, like you said, the musicians that I have on the CD are great. But what really inspired me a lot too is the vocal section, and that Cy Smith, who did most of the vocals, she is just so incredible. Man, I couldn't ask for a better person to have on the album than her. She just really, really did a great job. And I love having her in the band when she's able. She's so busy.
Right.
She's always out on the road and doing her own thing and working with a trumpet player and stuff. So it's hard to tie her down because she's very in demand. But I was able to use her on the CD. And and then there was one song, actually, the Rhythm of the Night song by Elder Barge, that needed more of a Latin tinge to it. So with the vocals, so we got Debbie Nova, who is from Costa Rica, very fine singer, and she does mostly Latin stuff. And I had her do the song on vocal, and it came out great.
Mm.
So being fortunate with having people like Justo Amario on saxophone and the guys here in LA, Oscar Cartayo was on bass, and Jonathan Montes, very young, incredible piano player. This time I used all those same people on every song,
Mhm.
where Back to the Bay, I used a lot of different musicians. But I wanted to create of this one a definite sound to the band, and that's why I chose these guys. And they just were just incredible. They did a great job, and of course my son Peter Michael just really did great. And I used a young lady by the name of Sheila E. came in, and I thought I'd give her a break, you know.
Right. I think I may have heard of her somewhere before.
Yeah, yeah. So she came in, and we actually did one of her songs, "Glamorous Life,"
Yeah.
which is her really a name song that she does, you know. And so I told her, I said, Sheila, we're going to do your song, Glamorous Life. And she said, well, who's going to sing? I said, no, I don't know. Maybe we'll surprise you. So she came to the studio and she didn't even know she was going to do the song. I told her, well, guess who's singing? You are. What? And when she heard the song, it was, you know, it's so different from what the way she does it. And
Right.
she does it more R&B, and I put it in like a Latin cha-cha. And she really liked it. And I think it came out really great. So, and then there's a young man named Simon Russell from the Bay Area. He's actually a great piano player and a great singer. And I had him do the Bill Withers song. And oh man, I sure miss Bill because I had a little party at the house here in LA, and Bill came, and I had showing him some of my artwork, and he bought one of my paintings, and he also bought a cigar box because he smoked cigars,
Mhm.
and we had a great conversation, just hanging out and talking, and so we talked about doing some music together and doing a CD together. And I'm so sorry that he passed away. We never got a chance to actually, you know, work on the CD. And I just wish that we could have done that because he's such a great writer and a great guy. I sure miss him.
Yeah, and I know that sometimes the term gets overused, but he truly was a very soulful singer and expressionist, you know.
Oh yeah, man, he
I
was the
mean, you
best.
felt the depth of what he was singing about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was a great guy, very nice man. Yeah.
That would have been a nice combination. But I love the way that Rhythm of the Night turned out, man. I mean, the music is great. You know, it feels good in addition to sounding good. And I think it seems like, especially over the past few recordings, well, overall, it seems like
Mhm.
the feeling of the music is as important to you as the sound of the music itself.
Exactly. Yes, because it has to be something that I feel, and it's something that the music that I want to play. Because sometimes, and it is true that when you do recordings and then you do a live show, there are some songs that you cannot do live that are on the recording because they really need to be really listened to. And when you play live, it's more of an appearance thing so that you want to make sure you entertain the audience because a lot of times it's a visual, more of a visual thing than actually them really listening unless you're in a jazz club. So that being said, it comes down to, well, how is this going to feel if we do it live? Can
Right.
we do it? Can we do this song live? And for the most part, most of the songs, yeah, we can do live. And there's some that we can't because they're a little slower and something that you would sit back and listen to. So, and it's, when it comes to recording, it's in a sense very difficult to choose the songs and to think about how you want to play them. And so it takes a lot of, soul searching, well,
Mhm.
what feels good? Well, let's do this because it feels great. And there were times in the studio that we even started playing a song that I wanted on the CD, and it just didn't feel right. So we said, well, let's scratch this one.
Mhm.
It's not working. Let's do another one. So
Right.
those things happen. Yeah.
Do you remember when did it come to a point with you as a musician that you recognized that you just described, that something should feel like it sounds, or how to translate it from the sound to expressing it also in performance?
Well, I think for me, because basically I've always played percussion. I started out on the saxophone, but I never got past the fourth lesson. So playing percussion for so many years and starting so young, uh, and the fact that all of my kids, Sheila, Juan, Peter, Michael, they all play percussion also. So we've kind of grown up into that thing. My brothers play, my nephews play. Um, so they're all into percussion.
Mhm.
So with that, it just seems like we were born with that kind of feeling of things have to be rhythmic, and so we base all the songs like that. They have to work rhythmically, or it's not going to happen. So if you take a R&B song and you say, well, or even a Stevie Wonder song and say, well, let's add Latin percussion to it, but it's going to have to feel right, and it's going to have to enhance the song. We don't want to ruin the song because that's somebody else's song that they wrote.
Mhm.
You don't want to step on their stuff, but you want to enhance their stuff. So it takes a lot of involvement doing that.
Yeah, I appreciate the way that you give the music respect, you know. Um, Especially if you're covering a song, it sounds like you respect the way that it was done before. You just want to add a little something to it.
Right, right. I want to add the Escovedo sound to it, and but I don't want. I wouldn't want the writer of the song to say, "Oh man, you guys messed up my song."
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And that happened on the CD "Back to the Bay" with Bobby Caldwell. Because we did his song, his signature song, and when we sent it to him because we wanted him to sing it. And so we told him, Bobby, we're doing your song, but we're doing it differently. It's kind of a Latin kind of salsa rhythm thing to it, and we hope you like it. So he heard it. He got back to us and says, "Man, I love it. I love this. I love this. This is cool." And he was so happy to be on the CD doing it his song
Yeah.
differently than he
Right.
would have done it. Yeah, so it was cool. Those kind of compliments are great.
It's man, and that's a real testament to your band too. I mean, of course, as you mentioned, the rhythm is there, but the horn lines that you add, the different changes, the clave, the percussion that's added, it even though the song is still recognizable to the listener, it has a new life, you know. Um, eh, for you, how do you go about selecting particular songs? I mean, do you hear a song and think, that might be good for us. Or are there times when you hear a song that you like, but you just feel like it wouldn't be the right song for your orchestra?
Yeah, man, there are so many great songs that we wouldn't be able to do because we wouldn't do them right. We wouldn't do them any justice. But when we started picking these songs, my son Peter Michael and I, we ran them down over in our heads, and we said, well, what if we do this to it? What if we add this horn line to it? How about if we put in this break to make it different? And yeah, and then a lot of times you get those ideas while you're recording. We're
Mhm.
actually recording. I mean, yeah, we have stuff written out, but at the same time, we're recording. We go, oh man, let's do this. So somebody will suggest something, and that's what's great for me with having great musicians in the band, because their input is so important to me, because I want them to have a voice also. Like, sure, my name's on it. It's the Pete Escovedo Orchestra, but I want the bass player or the piano player or whoever say, "Hey, man, why don't we do this? What if I change this?" And I'm open to all of that always, because a lot of their suggestions are so much way better than mine. And so, and so that's what's great about picking the right people, because the guys actually come in and they feel like it's, man, we're family. That's
Right.
that's that's the kind of real feeling I like to have with my band, is that the guys, they're not just, I just don't hire them and play them and see you later on the next gig. I want them to be part of a family. We talk about this stuff, and if we go on the road, we hang together. And I've always wanted that. I've always wanted that kind of relationship with the musicians of the band, because I've been in bands where the leader is just, forget about it. You don't even You don't even get to talk to the leader.
Hmm.
you know, it's you got a musical director that does everything, and then the leader comes in when he wants and runs it down, and see you later. You don't have a personal contact with the leader of the band. So I never wanted that. I wanted all the guys to be, hey, this is your band too. You want it to sound good, and which is another thing I've always wanted to do, and especially when we play live, I give everybody a voice. I give everybody a chance to play.
Hmm.
Whether it be the trumpet, saxophone, trombone, and I make sure that every song somebody is featured, that they get to play, they get to do their thing, because they're great. Yeah.
That that word family, that is something that I really see when I see your band. I've seen the band several dozen times over the
Yeah.
years, whether I've emceed shows or just been hanging out, checking them out. Each time I'm seeing a lot of the same faces throughout the years, which lets
Yeah.
me know that there is longevity in that band. Um, and each time everybody comes with a sense of pride and ownership about the music and the band itself.
Yes.
And they're all so cordial and friendly to each other, to the stage crew that's working with them. I mean, it really does feel like family. And
Yeah.
your band is always a band that I'm happy to see, not because I know it's going to sound good, but because of the good vibrations that comes with each person as
Yeah.
well.
Well, and that's the message I want to get to the audience. Is this, when we perform, I want the audience to feel, well, they're part of the performance too. And because we want to bless them with the music, and they're blessing us with the appreciation of the music, and that they're embracing it. So it works hand in hand. You got to have a great audience in order to play great music. So, and it's always important to me that we always put on a good show, and that we get to the people. And that's why a lot of times I'm on the microphone and I talk about things, and talk about the guys in the band. Sometimes I embarrass them. Sometimes I dog, I dog my sons, and you know, we get along that way, and it's really cool. And then sometimes I come up with a bunch of lousy jokes that that never work. So yeah, it's just a fun thing, and you know, to play and play music is it's a blessing, and you know, you got to have fun doing it, and that's what I enjoy. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, Rhythm of the Night is the name of the new recording from Pete Escovedo, Pete and his orchestra and a bunch of special guests. How was this record? You know, I mean, we went through a period of time where everybody was shut down, everybody was sheltered in place. How did you manage to get folks together for this one?
Well, being that we were shut down for so long and we weren't working at all, when I suggested that we go in and do a CD, they were so happy to go in and start playing music again, you know, because you can only do so much practice at home by yourself or, you know, and it's just this pandemic really hit the music business really bad because we were unable to play live.
Right.
And so, you know, doing those kind of things. And we did a couple of those, what do you call them when you play, like we're
Oh, the
doing
the
now.
the live streams.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
live streams. And we did a couple of those and it was fun, but it was not the same. There's no audience,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and it just didn't feel the same. So I only did a couple of those. Then I didn't feel like doing any more of those. So we 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 said we got to go in and start recording. So everybody was so happy that we got in the studio. It was just great to see the guys and to play together again, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that things are opening up a bit so folks will have the opportunity to catch the orchestra live, performing some of this music and much more. Rhythm of the Night, the name of the new one from Pete Escovedo. Before I let you go, Pete, you know, we had mentioned, or I had mentioned everything that you're doing in the introduction, but there's one thing I forgot to mention, man. I think that you have a future in Instagram entertainment, man. I've been I've seen the recent posts that you and your wife have put up, and,
Yeah,
and they're really fun. They're really entertaining, man. You know, so just thanks for sharing yourself in that way as well.
we have a lot of fun doing that stuff, and you know, my daughter Sheila E. She has her little TV show that she does, puts on. That she does every couple of weeks. And so we've done those, and we just having fun, trying to keep busy and keep our minds working, keep active, and when you get to be my age, now that I'm 86, I gotta say I gotta keep doing stuff, man. I can't just stop, So I've been, really trying to keep busy, and I want to start thinking about the next CD, and so starting to put some ideas together with that, and then the very greatest thing that's happening to me and my daughter Sheila is we're getting Lifetime Achievement Award at the Latin Grammys this year, which is so very special. Um, I've never really expected it. It was a surprise to me. First time father and daughter are getting a Lifetime Achievement Award together this
Oh,
year. So,
well,
yeah,
congratulations, man.
yeah, thank
Congratulations
you.
to you and Sheila as
Yeah,
well.
that was really a great surprise. So I'm looking forward to that November in Vegas, and ready to get back to work next year. We're already lining up some concert dates and stuff, and starting next year, people go on my website, check out my schedule, tour schedule and stuff. So we'll be back out there making some more music and having more fun and just keep on doing what we do.
And tell folks the website name.
Yeah, it's Pete Escovedo, and that's my website. But I also have Pete Escovedo e-gallery, which is my website for all my artwork.
Okay.
So check that out if you're interested in art. I've got a lot of paintings that I've been doing over the years, and really busy. Most of my time since being the pandemic hit, I just been doing a lot of painting, and you know, I love it. I love painting, and it's been a really great outlook for me. So
Well, again, man, thanks for the time, Pete. Thanks for the way you continue sharing yourself, whether it's through music or visual art, um, for sharing your family. And thanks for always representing, no matter where you are in the world, Oakland and the Bay Area is always super proud of Pete Escovedo.
yeah, there you go. Thanks, Greg. So great to see you, man. And I hope you stay well, be safe, and we just continue on what we're doing. And thanks for your support with playing the CD and stuff. I appreciate it.
Always, man. Blessings to you and the family. And I look forward
Thank
to seeing
you.
you soon, man.
All right. God bless.
Be well.